Before we introduce you to this week's guest, I'd like to read a review. Great podcast by Pinhead99. Thank you for the great podcast. This is more than just an entertainment. With your mission, I'm hoping that the world will be more open-minded. There will be less conscious or unconscious bias against Asians. This is important since our abilities to advance our career are often impacted by other people's perception. Thank you for your encouraging words, Pinhead99. I believe that when all of us are aware of the unconscious bias against Asians and we have abilities to lead and step up in our roles, then Americans will welcome us. It is not just for Asians, but for other races as well. Please keep listening and sharing this podcast if you believe in our mission. And if you want to know what I'm up to, please text AWOP to 64600. You will get a link to my virtual business card brought to you by EasyCard. Now, let's get started. Welcome to the Asian Women of Power podcast. Our guest today is Dr. Limin Hu. Dr. Hu had extensive startup experiences for both profits and nonprofits. He co-founded Ellie Mae, Inc. in 1998 and served as Executive Vice President and Chief Technology Officer for almost 20 years. Ellie Mae went public in 2011 and was named the best performing IPO for the U.S. technology company. In 2019, Ellie Mae was acquired to go private at a valuation of $3.7 billion. In 2002, Dr. Hu led a fundraising effort to raise $3 million to build a Friends of Children with Special Needs, FCSN, Center in San Francisco, California. He became the first chairman for 6 years. FCSN now has 2 centers in the Bay Area with more than 100 employees and serves hundreds of children and adults with autism, Down syndrome, etc. Dr. Limin is recognized as Chairman Emeritus for both Ellie Mae and the Mont AJ West Science and Technology Association. Please help me welcome Dr. Limin Hu.
Hi everyone. Hi Kimchi. It's an honor to come to this show and share my experience. I'm very excited here.
Thank you for being here. So share with us your childhood. Who or what inspired you to choose engineering?
Oh, this is I need to go down the memory. It's so far away now. But I remember I don't really choose, when I was back in Taiwan, you try to, it's a joint examination, so that the better your exam, you can get to a better college and you can pick the better discipline. And it happens that I think from the young, it's really I go with mountain goals, because the top ranking one is usually the one with good career. There's usually 2. One is engineering, the other is to be a doctor. I did pretty good in the examination, and I think I'm going to faint when I see the blood, so I choose engineering. So it's really follow the crowd, but I'm so excited that I end up okay.
Wow, that's a wise choice.
Yes.
All right, so you already know ahead that doctor is not your career, right? Because you say
No.
if you see blood, you're gonna faint, right?
Yes. And then I look at all these doctors doing the operation and surgeries. I say that's too scary for me.
Okay, so you rather working with a machine rather than a human, right?
Yes.
All right. So, who was your role model growing up?
I was reading a lot of the Chinese kung fu stories there. Um, some of the kung fu characters, they are my role models because they usually kind of like underdogs, and they've been suppressed, and they need to persevere, and then they need to struggle, and then eventually things get better, and eventually they're successful. So I learned that to be successful, you might suffer a lot. A life with struggle is a life that was celebrating, because without the struggle, you won't enjoy the fruit that much. So
Hmm,
that
that's
I don't have a particular role model, but I do have several characters in the novels.
which one?
I don't know the Chinese English name. It's
Okay.
it's a it's a by Gulong, by Jin Yong, some of the most famous authors in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and they have some of the epic stories that are very inspiring.
Is that a true story or is it
It's novels, yeah,
it's a novels?
yeah,
Okay.
because it's
Great.
kung fu, they can fly.
You are flying too.
Yeah,
That's great. You learned some skills already.
yep.
So, did you have two PhD simultaneously? One is in electrical engineering and the other in computer science engineering?
And yes and no. So when I was at Berkeley, we are in the department of, we call X, right? Electrical engineering and computer science. But usually when you get your PhD, you usually get PhD in one area, because both departments have different requirements. And so it happens that in the third year, my professor went sabbatical, and so the I got all the freedom, and I figured that hey, why don't I just get exposed in the computer science? So the third year I was in the computer science department because it's in the same department, and so I just took all the requirements. I meet all the requirements in both electrical engineering and computer science. So when I get a PhD, so this is a PhD in both area. It's still one PhD, but it's kind of like two, because I mean both area. If you look at all the PhDs from UC Berkeley, very very few with this double degree, because I wasted one year learning all the stuff in the computer science. But I figured that at some point I was in the engineering, I was in communication, I was in IC, I was into the internet, and I figured that everything's controlled by software, right? So there's really not a clear distinction between hardware and software, and I think I was right, because eventually everything controlled by software. So the going to computer science provide me with a lot of the experience that. So when I got my first job, and I got a job from Silicon Valley, joining a startup. And I got a job I remember from AT&T, go to their research center. And I got a job from computer science, from IBM Research. The IBM Research offer, I can see that it's $3,000 in the computer science offer. So therefore, I kind of picked computer science. So in hindsight, I was thinking that, I was just following where money goes, because whoever offered the higher salary, I figured there must be a good reason they offer the higher salary. And I think this is the same advice I gave to my kid. So my son is 25 now. When he was ready to go to the college, he was lucky to got admission into UC Berkeley. And he asked me, say, hey, Dad, what should I pick? I said, what do you like? He said, I like architecture, I like business. And I say, how about computer science? He said, I have no objection. I said, why don't you just take computer science? When you make enough money, you can do whatever you want. Because that what I found is that my younger son, he got autism. He's lucky to get into accounting area, but he's getting paid like $20 an hour. Sometimes it's a balance, right? If you make enough money, you can take care of yourself. A lot of times you'll be much happier if you don't need to worry about money. I mean, money not going to make you happy, but if you don't have money, money could really make you painful.
I agree about that. So tell us about Ellie Mae. How did you come up with that idea?
It's kind of like by chance because I went to IBM research, and after a couple of years, 2 years, and there was a new CEO, and his name was Lou Gustner. And IBM was going through some turbulence, and so the IBM was struggling. So the new CEO took over, first email to everyone in the research department, starting with the sentence that papers don't count anymore. So he was asking all the research staff, so we're going to evaluate our success based on impact. So the impact could be impact to the bottom line for IBM. Impact could be you make life much better, you change the world. I mean, impact meaning that it's going to be useful. It doesn't need to be measured by money or revenue, because that was a awakening for me, because I was thinking that I was publishing papers. I thought that I could be a professor, but then I realized that if I want to do impact, then I should go to industry. I should be an entrepreneur. So I decided that I'm going to be an entrepreneur. So in a few years, I started my first company, and I started my second company. So I have a lot of the relationship. And it happened that my partner was one of my client in my first company, and so the his company failed, and so he decided to launch something new. So he said, "Hey, Limin, why don't we join forces? It's a perfect combination, right? Um, I have the experience in the finance industry. I know what the market needs, and you know the technology. You're going to build something better than anybody else, and together we can build a great company." I always thought that it was perfect combination. He's still my best friend, and it's perfect combination in several ways, right? The other way is that I found that very different personality and experience. He's Jewish, I'm Chinese. We have the same value system, but we have very different knowledge, connection, and everything. So it's a 1+1 = 3, right? So that's perfect. So I always tell people that very smart, right? So I always tell people that with his smart and my look, we have perfect combination.
Okay. All right. So his smart, his brain and your look. Okay,
Yes.
it's a perfect combination.
Yep.
All right. So you said you are very strong in finance.
Yeah, he's very strong in the
He
finance
or him
industry.
or you?
My partner, so the idea, we were like 10 years ahead of our time, because my PhD study, I was doing the wireless internet, right? That was like 20 years before it was popular. And the idea we have for the Ellie Mae is really that why don't we bring all this the digital internet technology to the finance industry? On the mortgage side, on a lot of area is so backward. People still using phone, still using the paper, and if everything connected with digital, and then we're going to revolutionize the industry. So whatever we were thinking, I mean, looking back, I said, hey, that's fintech. We built a fintech company before the term was created. because later people start to apply technology into the finance technology. So it's called FinTech. Right now, it's a pretty popular area for startup for a lot of the new innovations coming in. So that in 20 years, we always have the same mission. We always want to create a digital mortgage and change the process from 45 days to 10 days, and then much more efficient, much more productive, and much more powerful because nowadays, if we can put the artificial intelligence behind everything, then you find that you can really streamline the process so much. And so our logo is making American dreams possible. Everyone need a mortgage, and we're going to make the process so easy. The millennials, they know how to find the right solution, and then we match them with the best solution, and then it's very efficient, and then they get the best price. Everyone has a chance to get a house of their own.
Yeah. So, did you leave Ellie Mae?
I left Ellie Mae April the 1st, and in fact, both founders and the
This
board,
year?
yeah, this year, because
Oh,
it was very interesting that I was thinking about leaving actually more than a years ago. So I turned over all the management last year already. The reason is that when company get to a certain point, I think that in Chinese we say, sometimes you want to quit while you are at the top. I'm more entrepreneur, and when we have 1,500 people in the company, it's the management job become much more important than you can go do whatever you want, and then you can create something new. So I figured that the stock went to 100, we became multi-billion dollars. I thought that, hey, I still like to be an entrepreneur, and that was reason number one. But the reason number two was that the company was simply acquired, so that we were public company. April, we became a private company owned by a private equity. So they took the company private, and then they only keep some of the active management team, and they don't need the founders and they don't need the board. But it's perfect. I mean, they own other companies in the space. They might have good opportunity to create something even bigger. But for us, my partner retired. I kind of semi-retire, but I can pursue a lot of the projects I want to do now.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
April 20. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's April 2019, actually just a few months ago.
Just a few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do anything to celebrate that?
Uh, yes, a little bit. I've been traveling a lot. Um, I went to Europe, 5 countries. I went to Las Vegas, and I went to Asia. I went to Japan for a week. I was in China for conference. I went to Beijing, and I was in Taipei, and I was stuck in Taipei because of the airline strike. I just came back last night. So the
Really?
past most of the May and June, I've been traveling, and I think I also plan to travel around the world in the October timeframe. So then I'm going to settle down and then pick out a lot of projects I have started already.
Oh, you're already starting some project.
Yeah, so I just started a new company and with partners to doing more conservative in the bring technology into real estate area, and I've been invited to join a company board for company raising 20 million US dollar already. And I've been advisor for a lot of the young startups, and I do mentors. So I've been helping a lot of the different projects, and it's no different than what I'm doing right now. I try to identify the young startups with potential, or I try to identify people who has a desire to learn. And if I can show them the way, my motto is really that I want everyone to get to their full potential. A lot of people, they could be an engineer, but they could be a great entrepreneur. They could be a great leader, and sometimes they just don't know what they look like to be a leader, or they don't know. First, I usually ask is that what do you want to accomplish in your life, right? Um, once you have an objective, you have a target, and then they help them to think and put down a strategy on how to get there. Because it was the same for me, right? I came to United States with $3,000 in my pocket. I got my PhD. I went to work for IBM. Then I decided I want to be an entrepreneur. So I follow my plan. In a few years, I learned from different areas, and I started my own company. Um, I started one company, two company, only until the third company it became very successful, right? So it's a journey. But if you understand, if you know what it takes, and you can be much better prepared, and you can be very successful. I think I'm going to jump ahead to share some of the key findings. So that I'm going to. I think the number one is that the I usually tell people that the most important thing is leadership, right? So I'm going to come back to that later. And the other one I always tell people is that if you're happy, you can make people happy. So take care of yourself. That's the most important thing, because if you don't be happy, you don't have positive attitude, then you're not going to be successful. And the third one I think is the this would be strange coming from an engineer, right? But but I'm I'm engineer turned entrepreneur. So I always tell people that the most of my successful friends in business or in startup, and they all have very good people relationship. So your network is actually worth a lot. Um, and all these three elements are actually connected. So the maybe I can just since I've explained, let me just jump into a little bit more. So I always tell people that it's instead of hoping you bump into a boss who can treat you well and take you fly with him or her, uh, it's this not. I mean, most likely it's not, right? Most likely is that you should think about how you can make a difference. You can make a difference by learning to be a leader. And nowadays, to be successful, it's not the time that in the good old days, I'm very strong. I can do things by myself. But nowadays, it's an era of innovation and collaboration. So meaning that you can be very successful only if you find all the right people together to be a good team. So if you want to have a build a team, then you really want to develop your leadership, right? Once you have the leadership, then you can do. It doesn't matter whether you want to be a VP in a company, or you want to start your own company, or you want to do charity work, because it's all about the leadership. That's number one, right? And to be a good leader, you you really want people enjoy working with you. So imagine if you depressed, you grumpy, and then you complain all the time. I mean, hey, everyone has too many problem headache of their own already. Why do they need to sit down and spend time with some people giving me even more negative energy, right? So that you feel happy, you take care of yourself, and you you have something I call the enthusiasm. So anything when I first raised the venture money, we have no experience, both of us, and they like us, and they like our combination, and then they like our enthusiasm. And then if you don't have the passion, you don't do something you like, then you're not going to be that successful. Because you if you do something you don't like and then you hope that you'll be successful, you make a lot of money, so you don't need to work anymore. Uh, eh, all those friends fail. The people successful, they enjoy doing the startup company. They enjoy facing the challenges. They enjoy solving problems, and they just very positive and they have the passion, and that's why. So therefore, a lot of time you, I hope that everyone can turn their job into their passion, which is very, very, very difficult. Anything you do, after a while, you get tired. But you got to find something. You have purpose in life. You have something you're working on, so you can keep going. And then that's the entrepreneurship, right? You number one in the Bay Area is that you're going to embrace failures because everyone going to fail, and you learn from your mistakes. You're going to pick it up and you keep on doing. So that's the spirit of the Silicon Valley, and that's why you need to be happy. So it's all connected, right? The third one, I think I'm not going to go into that because nowadays most people understand, because after I explain the leadership, the team effort, um, the importance thing to be positive, and you actually get a lot of support from your friends, from your network. You never know who's going to help you, where you're going to find something that you're going to find a lot of miracles through your network. So the people relationship are very, very important nowadays. And for the young people, and the only thing I complain is that it's wonderful. Everyone has a cell phone, right? And I think it's mobile. It changed the world, and then with cloud, with everything, it's wonderful. But when you sit down with your friend, so I usually go to dinner with my friend, and I would suggest, why don't we all put the phone in that corner? Okay, because I look at a lot of the people, they sit together, they play their phone, they don't really interact with each other, because you never learn enough from the books or internet, and but you learn a lot from your friends, and you get a lot of energy, you get a lot of the enthusiasm, passion by working with other people. So that's why I think that these are the three elements that the you know I I s- I went into the entrepreneurship. I learned along the way, and then I realized that once you realize that these are the important things, and you follow this path, and you have your target, you find you get closer every day, and you're going to make progress, you're going to make mistakes, but your chance of success is so much higher if you can follow that.
Wise advice. Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree. Just recently, I taught a class with the CASPA organization
Hmm.
about the emotional intelligence.
Yep.
One of one of the five area in the emotional intelligence is about networking, about your relationship with other people, how to manage other people, right? So
Yes,
so it's
absolutely. And then it's funny that my feeling is that it starts from taking care of yourself, and
absolutely
your family. So the right model for entrepreneurship is that it's not saying that Mr. Mrs. Family, son, daughter, wife, I'm going to take on startup. I'm going to disappear from the world for 3 years, and I'm going to use out all the money. If I'm successful, I found goal, and we have happiness. If not, then everyone will be miserable. This model never work, never work. The reason is that the startup is a journey, as I said. You're just going to have, you raise money, you're going to have even bigger challenges. You're going to continue to run into more problems. So you cannot throw yourself sacrificing the most important things in life, which is treat yourself well and take care of your family, right? So the good startup, we in the early days we encourage the family member all join, and we have a lot of activity to help community, and we bring the family together. So this is an important fund for a lot of the employees, because the company is their family as well. So we all have good time, we all exercise, we take care of ourselves. So that's why we have more energy to go longer, right? So that if you don't take care of yourself and your family, and you try to sacrifice everything for the startup, and then you're doing it wrong.
So, what led you to start the Friends of Children with Special Needs?
Yeah, so this is I wasn't planning on that, but however, um, I when I started Ellie Mae, which is about 1997, my son was 1 year old. My second son, my younger one, Dennis, the second year, um, when my son was two and a half, about two, I found him to be autistic. And so and actually the things got worse, because my ex-wife now, um, and showing signs of depression. So so I'm the only one bringing the I'm only the bread earning the bread for the family, and it seems that I'm the only one who could help my son. So I was faced with tremendous challenge at that point. On one hand, is that I want to make a lot of money. I want to be successful, so I have resource to help my son. Because the 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 more I study, the more scary, because autism and it's not curable, so it's for life. And the on the other hand, there's something called the window of opportunity. It's called the early intervention. When you when between 2 to 5, if you train the brain of an autistic kid, or any developmental delay type of the problem, they actually learn a lot, and then they adjust their pattern, so they could be quite normal. They could improve a lot. So I have the critical three year ahead of me. We just raised money from venture capital, and we have plenty of money. And I have a son with autism. So I was struggling a little bit, and one day I got I got very clear in my mind. I say, I could start another company, but my son cannot wait. So I decided to focus on my son, Dennis. And so I went back to Ellie Mae. I told my partners, I say, I'm sorry, I'm going to try my best, but I have more important startup at home, which is my son. I'm not going to give up on Ellie Mae, but I want to make sure that I do everything I could to help my son. And my model for my son is not about changing him to be normal, because I know that's impossible. So my idea is that, you know, this couple years I try my best. If I can help him to achieve the full potential, and then there's no regret. I try my best, and that's my spirit at that point. And the funny thing is that after 2 years, so the 2.5 year, my son then started to talk. He called me Baba the first time when he was 4.5 years old, and I was so happy. So I went back to Ellie Mae. I told my friends and my partners there. I told them that, you know, my startup at home is so successful. It's a miracle. I'm so happy. I got I have the happiest moment in my life when my son opened his mouth and say, "Call me daddy." So then I told my partner, I said, you know, Ellie Mae doesn't really matter to me anymore. And the funny thing is that a lot of time when you try so hard, you couldn't get it. But when you try to focus on what you think is right, and you end up the best, because all my partner, they respect me very much, and they say, you know, they need to adjust to my schedule, and they they know I won't have much time. I won't have all the time like other people for the startup. So so I end up being, people say, hey, you know, I really know how to use people. I really know how to build a team, and especially that I know, I mean, I really know how to work smart. So we build a model that the it's about how, whether you focus, you need to focus, you need to work smart. But that's the right way to do the startup. You take care of your family, and then you can focus on your job and your career. It's not about how much time you spend on your job. It's about how much progress and how much success, how much impact you're making. So, because my experience, and I realized that, hey, I'm so lucky. But there's so many other people. I think at that point they say 1 in 600 kids are born with autism. Of course, today they say it's like 1 in 60 or 80, and
Wow.
so there's a huge jump, and the government not going to have resources to help every kid. So I realized that my partner uh, at FCSN, and kind of a very smart, he's a doctor, and we realized that it took us so much time to figure out how to take care of the kids. What's the right way to do? We really should expand our experience. And FCSN at that point, they have 10 families. They're doing a lot of family style the operation. Um, I got a lot of help from them. So I thought that, you know, I don't want to just give up on the autism side. I figured that maybe I could continue to help them a little bit. So in the next about 10 years, so I spent probably 2 to 3 years raising $3 million, and then like 3 4 years, um in that time frame we built a center, and then I was the first chairman for 6 years. So we helped the FCSN to help a lot of the people. So we help people with autism, with the cerebral palsy, with Down syndrome, with any developmental delay, because it's all the same. The early intervention, and then what's the right way. You need to use the right way they could learn. Um, as long as these kids, they could learn, the learning curve could be much slower, but once they do it, I mean, they learn it, they know how to do it. My son just graduated from San Jose University, and he's working in an accounting firm. And so you see, once he can walk, he has a full life ahead of him, and I'm so happy. So, you know, I got so much accomplishment from the progress of my son. So we ran into all kind of problem in the companies, in the company, and you know, every time I look at that, I say, hey, that's nothing compared to when I have an autistic son, and I know that there's no hope, but I just keep doing that, and you know, miracle happen. He makes so much progress that I couldn't think imagine that was possible, because he doesn't talk at the age of 4.
Wow.
And then the training was difficult, but once you crack open, he got a way to communicate. He's very smart. He's high functioning, but then you learn that it's really, if you can help more kids to be normal and to get better much earlier in life, have family joining the effort, and that would be fabulous. And it's we say it takes a village to raise a kid, especially an autistic kid. So the so the we so that's how we that's so the and it's even more funnier because most of the leadership I don't learn from Ellie Mae. I actually learn from friends of children with special needs. Because I realized that when I was raising money, and imagine that the two things are most difficult to do in the life, right? One is put your idea into other people's mind, and the other one is take other people's money into your own pocket. So when you try to raise money for FCSN, you're not going to promise them the return of the money. It's donation, and so that you raise money for no return, but there's actually a lot of return for them, right? So these are the things you want to convince them, right? One, you have an idea, and then you believe that idea will work, and you have passion, and then they believe in you that you can make it happen, and they believe that you're going to help a lot of kids because they invest in you to, to help other kids to make impact. So once you've gone through the effort to raise money for no no potential financial return for those people, you actually learn how to raise money for your startup much easier. And you find that a lot of good people willing to make donation. These are wonderful friends. So I build a network of friends because all those victims, all those donors, they've been so helpful. They've been so helpful and in my career because I bump into a lot of the people just keep helping me, right? And the third one is that when I was doing when I was organizing any events, then you realize that in a company, you pay people salary and you could fire people. So you can say, carrot and stick. If you don't do it, you fire, right? But in a charity, you want people to help you, and you don't pay them money. So you really need to have leadership. So throughout the nonprofit effort, I think my leadership, I realized that, gosh, people are so willing to work for you and work for the mission, work for what they believe, and work for something they're enthusiastic. When we're raising money, I have parents work until 2 o'clock. They know it's important, so everyone's doing things on their own. And I say, if I can have my company's engineer doing half of that, we will be very successful because then you realize that building a startup, building a company, it's not it's not about it's not about how much money. It's not about the financial reward. It's that you don't pay them enough, you're not going to get them to support you, but you really need them to be motivated, right? You really need them to be autonomous, willing to do things on their own. You really need them to believe in the mission. And so this is a most important experience for startup. It's actually coming from nonprofit. So that's why I found that if I just jump into Ellie Mae, and I started, this is my third company, so I started several companies. Um, but then when I work on charity, I realized that the this helped shape my leadership so much. I learned so much from doing things from a different angles, and then you realize that sometimes people just the harder you try, you just won't get there because you're using the wrong method or using the wrong mentality or you're using the wrong approach.
So, what was your role in the FCSN?
My first role was was chairman of the fundraising. So I organized the activities and I figured out how to raise money. So I was leading the fundraising effort. And then once we built the the center, I was the chairman and I was helping FCSN to move from a family organization into into a established charity organization um, that we can survive and then we will be much more successful in the long run. And I think the structures and a lot of things, actually a lot of things I learned from starting the company. I was the most qualified one to help FCSN with the structure because when you have a group of parents, they don't have experience. But you have the right now FCSN is like $15 million asset and more than 100 employees. So you really need a structure to grow, and you really need to share the culture, and you really need to define the mission. So those are the things I help FCSN. So therefore, I think I've been serving as chairman the longest term because there was a term limit and they changed that for me. So I served 6 terms. But right now, we want people to take turns to serve as chairman.
Okay, so you mentioned that right now the asset for the FCSN is $15 million.
Yes.
What kind of asset does this organization own?
So we have 2 centers. One center in San Jose, one in Fremont, and then we've been we've been very profitable. So I I, I mean, we've been raising money and then to help us to grow. But in terms of operation, we've been running the operation breaking even or profitable. And the reason is that I say, as a charity or as a startup, you need to have resources. You have money to support your operation and your growth. And you need to figure out the model. And for the FCSN to sustain and to survive and to persist forever, and you really need to bring in the revenue. So we became a vendor for the government, right? So this government agency called regional centers. So we became a vendor. So we help the government to take care of a lot of the autistic kids and Down syndrome kids. We have different programs. We have many different programs that the the government agencies are providing funding. So we have so we can that's how we can that's how we can operate with more than 100 full-time employees.
Oh, okay. So FCSN is not a non-profit, right? It
It's
is not.
it's nonprofit.
It is non-profit?
It's nonprofit. So I mean nonprofit could be huge, right? It's like United Way, it's like at Red Cross. We're a big organization
Mm-hmm.
and we make money, we raise money, and then we we provide money back to the community. We help a lot of kids, and and along the way, we provide salaries to more than 100 employees.
So who qualified to get help from FCSN?
So everyone is qualified. So we have like we have like several dozen of programs. Some of the programs we got funding from the government, and we open to everyone. And you need to qualify by the agency. For example, you need to certify to be autistic or certain other area that the qualify for our program. And but the challenge today for us that for those day program, for those formal program, and the waiting list probably like a couple years because
Wow.
the demand is so strong out there, and we just cannot. I mean, we just don't have capacity. We are operating at full capacity nowadays. The second area is that we call the we have program that's more for the family. So we have all kind of program, regular gathering. We do the sports camps. We do the music camp. We provide a lot of program that help the kids to grow, to learn, and parents could participate. We have program for different ages, and so that we do. And then the purpose of those programs is not that it's not therapeutic. It's not it's not educational to replace the school, right? So those programs, the purpose is really teaching the parents, bring the parents together, showing parents that learning music could help these kids to get better, and figure out the way um, to reach them, to communicate with them is important. Or you just take the exercise, dancing, that could be very helpful. And so it's just a lot of different and doing arts, learning computers, and parents coming here as a volunteer. So sometimes we call them the volunteer programs, right? So we have parents coming in, and then we have those programs running throughout, and then we do a lot of activity to bring the family together. If you imagine that the family working together and being very positive, and they go out hiking together, and they help each other. Now they're not lonely, right? Because
Mhm.
number one problem is that a lot of people will feel that, why me? How come it's my son, my daughter? They got depressed. They don't have energy to help their kids. And on the other hand, it's that if a group of people doing it together, it's much easier, much happier. Um, I think my biggest contribution is not to raise the money. It's that I want the organization to be positive thinking, and I want the organization to reach out, and I want the organization to work with everyone in the community. So because we have this concept, we bring the parents together. I say this is a smiling organization. I want these kids to be smiling, and then instead of holding them at a very high standard, academic standard, it's really if they are very happy and if learning, then we're very happy, and parents are happy, and everyone making great progress here.
Yeah, that's great. You are doing a wonderful job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah. So tell us about the Mont AJ West Science and Technology Association. What is it?
Yeah, it's about 25, 27 years ago. Um, a group of high-tech executives they got together, and then they say, hey, maybe we should build an organization to help with a lot of different things. And right now we have three major missions, right? Number one is that we are serving as a bridge between the East and West, because it's mostly Asian business entrepreneurs and business executives, and there's a lot of manufacturing, a lot of the development in Asia, and Silicon Valley is a place of innovation. If you bring them together, it's the flow of information and opportunities. I think that's what makes Silicon Valley and successful electronic industry in Asia. And so that's the first thing we do. But the second thing we do is that we found that the Asian community, especially Chinese, doesn't matter from China, Hong Kong, or Taiwan, the Chinese community are represented in terms of the high-tech area, corporate leaders, or in politicians, because the somehow it doesn't matter whether you you first generation or or you're born here, if you have the Asian heritage, somehow the we are not doing as well as we should be. And so what we try to do is uh, building the bridge to the next generation, and we bring a lot of for example, we have a mentorship program, just sharing the young people how our struggle, our success, and then open their mind. I mean, I think sometimes you just open their mind, and then they have an idea what they could be, and then they go for it, and then they will be so much more successful, right? The third one is really, I think the Chinese are in general just as we say is so disorganized, it's so anti-team spirit. So a lot of Chinese, they build a lot of organization, they started a lot of companies. They don't help each other that much. So if you compare, this is the other reason that we are underrepresented, right? Because if you look at companies, executives, and Chinese are lagging behind. So we build this platform to bring all the organization, all the Chinese, all the Asian together, right? We're happy to reach out to Indian. We try to reach out to everyone. So the working together and helping each other and building a platform that for the high tech people can exchange idea, could help each other. I think it's all coming back to my third item, right? It's networking. If you have a good networking, everyone doing together, I think it's been very successful. So the if you look at TSMC, the Foxconn, Nvidia, I mean all Supermicro, a lot of successful Chinese related companies, they are all founding member of Mont AJ. So the Mont AJ right now spreading out to different area. There's Mont AJ in Los Angeles. There's one in, I think the one in New England. There's a one in DC. So there's a one in Canada. There's a one in Taiwan. There's actually a few in China right now. So we're building out a global network that keep the information flowing through our network, and which helps everyone to be much more successful.
So the Mont AJ West is the original one. Is
Yes.
the place? Okay.
So the Mont AJ West is the original one. So what we did is that after a few years, we realized that to be successful, you build a platform, you need everyone to join you. So Mont AJ, we change our name to Mont AJ
Mont AJ
West.
West.
That's right. And then so there's a Mont AJ New England, Mont AJ Canada, Mont AJ Hong Kong. So there's a Mont AJ Shenzhen. So there's a Mont AJ. I think we have 14 organizations today.
40
14.
or 14? Okay.
Yeah, 14
One four.
organizations. Yeah.
All right. And all the members are Asian.
Yes.
All in high tech.
Yeah, predominantly Asian in high tech.
Asian in high tech.
Yeah.
What if somebody who's no longer working high tech, can they be a member?
Absolutely. So the membership is open to everyone. We are the vehicle to share all the seminar, all the other technology organization information to our members. But when you look at our board, we actually have majority of them are high tech people. Most of them are high tech in the management. But however, we know that today you cannot just have high tech people. We have lawyers, we have bankers, we have accountants. So we have a healthy combination of the different professionals, because Nowadays, as I described much earlier, right? When you have a diverse team, you're much more likely to be successful. Part of the Silicon Valley spirit, right? Because we have people from everywhere in the world. Everyone is different, so that's why we are very successful. And since this is I think the Asian woman of power, there's a study showing that if you have if you in the Silicon Valley, all these technology company in a team, if you have women in a team, the more women in the team, the more productive and more successful those teams are. Because simply because the women have different strengths, different way of thinking. Once you have the diverse group people in a team, you will be much more successful because brainstorming, and then you have strengths in different area. So that's why we're not trying to make everyone the same, but we respect everyone to be different. But it's important to bring all these people together, working together, and I think that's a secret of the the secret for a company to be successful.
So how is this organization different from other, like say, other Asian association
Yeah, so
out
there's
there?
there are so many different organizations out there. We have relationship with a lot of them. For example, there are several pretty big ones from Taiwan. One is Chinese Institute of Engineers. So
CIE.
CIE. So their focus is more on engineers. But our focus is more on the business idea exchange. So we have more. We're not focusing that much on the technology achievement itself. And there's a CASPA, and they are focusing on semiconductor. So it's kind of like organization to bring all the semiconductor companies together. Um, it's very powerful, very useful, and very important. Uh, but uh, but multi-jet is kind of more like the high level connection, so that we don't we really building on the bridges, building on the connection to next generation, and building up to be a platform. So we are I think we are one of the most um, we are one of the most with respect, and people feel that we have the leadership because we're trying to bring them together.
Wonderful. I'll check it out.
Yeah. And wonderful, and welcome you to join our future activities. We do a lot of seminars, we do a lot of different stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. So what is your role in this organization? Are you a founder also?
No, this is an organization almost 30 years old. So uh, I joined the organization I think 6 years ago. Um, first as a first 4 years I was a board member, and then the next 2 years I, I actually I actually just retired from this organization as a chairman. So I served as chairman for 2 years, and I've been helping push the missions and building the bridges. So I was a chairman for 2 years, and right now it's very honor for me that they name me they recognize me and the chairman before me, two of us, as a chairman emeritus.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So, as an accomplished businessman and a philanthropist, what would you recommend Asian American professionals who are in their 20s and 30s to invest their time and focus on?
I think the first thing for everyone to focus on is really what you what you want to be, right? you I mean, you don't need to be an entrepreneur. You could be very happy and working in a big company. You could be very happy as an architect, just working on your own. Or you could be very happy being becoming a professional manager. Or you could be very happy managing other people's money. So I think the whenever you could have a goal in life, and and then you have focus, um, then you have much better chance of success. And the second thing is that the I think leadership is it's kind of universal.
Mhm.
You you today's uh, environment, it doesn't matter. So in our company, without technologies, you have two paths to go, right? You could go through the management ladder. Then you need to be a good leader, right? Because you're going to manage other people, you're going to communicate with outside, and then you're going to try to communicate to people so they know what they need to do. And you need to manage people. So you need to have very good people skill. You really need to be a good leader to do that. Um, on the other track, it's a professional track. You could be a engineer, senior engineer, senior software engineer. You could be architect. You could be, you could keep doing that. Um, but remember, what we realized that for anyone to be an architect and to be a senior leader in a technical organization, you still need to you still need to work with everyone, right? You still need to know the product. You still need to work with a different organization to know what you're going to build, right? So the if you don't work with other people, you won't be able to accomplish that kind of the level just by bury your head in the computer and then working all day long. You're not going to be successful in that track either. So it doesn't matter where you go. I think the leadership and building the network and learning from people, working with other people, those are the things that they need to remember to invest their time and focus.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it's all about emotional intelligence.
Yes,
No matter which track you want to go to, right? Either management track or professional specialized track, you
yep,
still have to work with other people to get your
yes,
idea across.
yes.
Yes, absolutely. So, what are your top three priorities in life?
Yeah, I think it it changed. It doesn't change that much, but it does change a little bit. Um, this is an area that the I'm not sure that the audience want to follow my advice. So my top three priority in life today, I think number one is that I want to stay healthy, right? So I want to take care of myself because I figure that hey, the technology in medical area is improved so much. Um, I want to stay young. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy life. So I want to be healthy, right? That's number one. And number two is that I think it's always family. I have two sons. And their mother is not that functioning in life. So I have two sons, and I want to maintain good relationship with them. And I have three brothers, three sisters. Um, so I think the family is always uh I mean, family is kind of like the fire burning, keep you hard all the time. So I think the family is really important. I think the third one is that I have a lot of the I have a lot of the dreams I want to do, right? And those things are kind of like my I always have a lot of things I going and I enjoy wine. I love travels, and then I want to do that with a lot of friends. So it's really I want to enjoy my circle of friends, to enjoy many of my hobbies. And my hobby and a lot of my hobby is not about, for example, I play lousy golf, but I enjoy playing golf because I think the it's like climbing mountains, right? You never get to the Himalayas, top of that, but you enjoy doing something. You just I enjoy sports. I enjoy skiing, so I just at this moment I just retire. I just want to enjoy that a little bit because I know that the I probably will pick up some some other projects very soon. So my priority might change. And has it changed as you grow older? I think the yeah, I don't think that changed much, except one area that the family structure changed because I'm divorced now twice. So I enjoy family life in a different setting, and I enjoy this setting for the time being. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think my priority change as I grow older. Yeah. Um, I think right now, I'm in the same boat as you. Health is the most important thing for me. That's
Yes.
number one priority. So I learn how to take care of myself, exercise, eat, watch what I eat. Because if I am not healthy, I'll become a burden for my family.
Yep.
And then relationship is important to me, right? Because as what human is all about relationship, right?
Yes.
Without family, without relationship, then we are not human.
I'm going to summarize the third one. Is what I call the happiness. Happiness is not about how much money you have, and happiness is about you have purpose in life. You feel that you're making progress, and you feel that you're doing something meaningful, and you feel that you have hobby that you could enjoy. So the happiness, that would be a whole different topic for another section, because that would take a very long time to explain. But I think the major changes when we grow older is that a lot of time when we're younger, we compare too much. So meaning meaning that my colleagues getting promotion, someone making more money, and someone got a beautiful girlfriend, and someone has 3 kids, and his kids is going to Stanford. So you're comparing all those things, and at the end, you realize that the it's not as important as you think. Um, for example, my younger son, I just want him to be happy. I don't need my son, any of my son, to go to the top school and then making a lot of money, being the Mark Zuckerberg, being billionaire. I mean, I want them to be happy if they have meaningful life, if a full life, they have family, I think it's coming back to the three things at the end, right? It's we healthy, and we have good relationship, and we happy, and those are the things that I think right now is most important in life to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So if there is a magic wand, like if you have a wish, would you do anything different if you could repeat your life again?
Yeah, if I could repeat my life again and I have the magic wand, I want to I want to be born a millionaire. So it's so much easier.
You won't learn anything. If you're born as a millionaire, you won't learn anything. You won't, you won't learn the lesson that you have to learn, right?
If I would repeat my life again, I don't think I would do much different because we are who we are because of mistakes we made. It's meaningless to say, instead of marry this girl, if I marry the other girl, life would be better because I think the most important thing is that looking forward, right? Don't look back. You look back, you say you just don't know. If I start the company different, if I make a choice differently, maybe my life will be different. But you could make more money, but you may not be more happier. Or you could be happier, but you may not be that healthy. So I think the one of the secret of happiness is that you don't need to go back to regret. You just need to look forward to say, hey, you know, tomorrow could be better. And whatever I have, I enjoy what I have. I value what I have. And my friends, my family, my health, and don't need to go back to try to make things better because even you struggle a lot, then the success come, it will be much sweeter. And then if you don't make any mistake that change your life and got you into big trouble, you say you want to change. Otherwise, I think the I wouldn't change anything. I would just say, hey, we just open a box of chocolate. We just try whatever's there, and we just try the new one. You could, I mean, it's a don't spend too much time going backward.
Yeah, that was my answer before too. But last year, a young girl, she's like 28, I think.
Mhm.
She's Chinese, and she asked me if I would do anything different, if I can repeat my life again. And I told her, say I would not change anything.
Yep.
Whatever happened to me, the mistake I made is lead me to here. Yes. And she was so surprised. I said, really? You don't change anything? You say, nope, I won't change anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did you balance your work, family, contribution, and your life?
Yeah. I think I figured that out when I was in the most difficult period of my life, right? As I described in this interview, when you just started the company
Mm-hmm.
and you got a son that's autistic, so I realized that at that moment I prioritized my family over my work, because I realized that the I could always start another company, and but I could not have enough. I could not miss the opportunity with the time with my son to help him to get better, because it's called early intervention, and there's a window of opportunity. So that once I realized that, I found that the if you take care of yourself, and you have better chance to take care of your family. And if you take care of your family, you have a better chance to be productive at work. Imagine that you have a partner in the Silicon Valley. You spend more time with your partner, with your family, with your wife. So you need to find the right environment, right partner. If you need to find the right company to start or right company to work for.
So how do you want people to reach out to you?
Yeah, I think the thinking is a good idea. Just find Limin Hu would be great. Or if someone wants to reach me, they can send email to me, liminhu@yahoo.com.
liminghu@yahoo.com. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here at the Asian Women of Power podcast, Dr. Liming. Now, to you who are listening or watching this interview, what are your takeaways? We want to hear from you. Until next time, live life loud. Goodbye now.
Goodbye. Thank you.